Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to show you where all the grease points are on my Jeep. You guys were asking for that. Now when you lift the Jeep, you're gonna have custom control arms, and they require you to grease all the joints as well as the track bar in the front, things like that. You do need to grease up. There are some ball joints that are greasable as well, but let me show you all the grease points that I do have. So in the front I do have Rusty's quick disconnects. I don't recommend these. The reason being, where the disconnects, you can see here, it only connects to one of the tabs, and what ends up happening is the tab ends up bending. So I don't recommend these sway bar disconnects. I say go for like JKS or something like that, but that's one of the grease points that I have on the bottom and the top of the sway bar disconnect. I do have the Heim joints, so there's no grease points, but you do still want to lube these up. You want to use some dry grease. I honestly recommend getting the 1-tons instead of the Heim joints, because the Heims do move, and the drag link here, it actually moves up and down as you're driving off-road and hitting bumps, and I personally don't like that noise. So I would recommend going with the 1-tons. It'll be easier to get joints like at local parts stores. The Heim joints, you don't have that option. Another grease point that I have here is my track bar, which is this one here. On the track bar, I do recommend getting either Trail Forge or Core 4x4, because I had JKS before and the joint ended up going bad and I had to change out the bushings. On the axle side where the adjustability was, it got wallowed out and I had to weld it together, so I don't recommend that one. So the track bar has the grease point here on the axle side. As you can see, it's on top, so it's easy to get to. No issues there. Other than that, there's no other place where I have to grease in the front. On the long arms that I have here, the front are bushings and the rear are the iron rock flex joints. So the rear is where you have to grease up. So you have the cross member here, and this is where all three control arms actually mount up. Here is one of the grease joints. It is flipped the other side, but you can just loosen it up a little just so you can get the grease gun on there and then add grease to that. And you're gonna have to hit both sides and the upper control arm as well. Oh god, look at my transmission, that thing's leaking. And like I said, your ball joints up there, they might have a grease point, so make sure to get those. On the back here I have Trail Forge lower control arms. Right here's another grease fitting that you have to hit. Make sure to get that as well. These control arms, they come with the rubber bushing at the bottom and then the Johnny joint at the top. I also have the Iron Rock 8-arm. This one I actually lost the little like nipple for the grease. It actually fell out. Let me see if I could zoom in so you could see. You can kind of see it on top right there. So I wasn't able to hit that one, but that's another grease joint. If you have the A-arm, you need to hit that as well. And these grease points are if you have like adjustable control arms and long arms and all that. If you have a stock Jeep with like a budget boost like Chris's Jeep, all the control arms are bushings where you don't have to grease up. There's no grease points on them. The steering as well doesn't have any grease points. Your ball joints might have grease points, so be sure to check on that. But on stock WJs, you don't really have to worry about any of this. If you have adjustable control arms or long arms, this is something you definitely want to check. And you do want to check them pretty frequently. Maybe every time you change the oil, re-grease them, but definitely stay on top of it. So that's pretty much all the grease points on the Jeep. And as you can tell, I have different parts on my Jeep. I just don't have one lift kit. And I'm gonna be making a video on Friday talking about the proper way to lift your Jeep. You don't wanna just get a lift kit. Getting a lift kit is just the start, but you also wanna add other parts, and we'll get deeper into that on Friday. There's honestly a lot of things that go into lifting a Jeep. It's not just getting a kit. I did learn that by doing it myself. I actually went through a bunch of forums about Jeep WJs, Facebook groups and all that to find out exactly what was needed to lift one properly. And that's what I have done with my Jeep. I still have a couple parts to change here and there, like drive shafts and all that, but for the most part, it's running great. I haven't really taken it off-road yet because of my rear axle. When I fixed my rear axle, noticed that the carrier was cracked, and we kind of did a bad job fixing it. It's good to drive on road, but I don't trust it off-road, especially with 33s. If you have a Dana 35, I would say swap it out to a Dana 44A from a V8 and you should be fine. And that should be able to handle the bigger wheels. But the Dana 35, if you have it, swap it out. Make sure to check out NajarOffroad.com. You guys actually helped me out a lot by picking stuff up, so I appreciate you guys. I know this was a short video, but Friday I'm gonna have a good, informative, long video for you guys, and I'll see you then. Peace.